Very good afternoon and welcome to Oestersund in Sweden for the opening day of the Biathlon World Cup. And it's now something like 222 days since we last had a Biathlon World Cup race. So I know a few of you have had withdrawal symptoms from that. The wait has ended. Just a mixed relay today, and then we really get the season underway later in the week with more races here in Oestersund. Not a breath of wind to talk about. Mike, these are your nightmare conditions.
Perfect conditions, and great to see Tora Berger. We thought she was retiring last year. She's not. She's leading the Norwegians out.
Yeah, persuaded by the younger members in the Norwegian team to come back and lead them through the transition. And my goodness, she's going to play a valuable role for Norway this year. Now, nearest the picture, we have Russia with Olga Zaitseva, and then we have Brunei for France. She shouldn't miss a target. She hardly missed a target all last season, and in these conditions, it shouldn't be too tough. Norway with Tora Berger. She's rattled 5 down. First to clear 5 for the season, and she's matched by France, Russia, Germany. Sweden get 5 out of 5. Good start for the host nation. And then Finland also clearing all 5. More significantly, we need to look at the mistakes. Ukraine, Slovakia, the Czech Republic and Italy have all missed targets. Canada have missed 3. That's astonishing.
Well,
now they've missed 4.
Looking at the flags, as you said earlier, you don't often get a day where it is absolutely perfect in terms of no influence from the wind. The light isn't great, though. I know they've got the bright lights onto the targets, but that can play only a small factor. 3
penalty loops for the Canadian team. There'll be a few puzzled coaches in their box. I wonder what's going on there, Mike. Usually when the shooting result is that bad, there's an explanation.
Well, it's an interesting one, certainly for an experienced biathlete. You wouldn't expect it. It's all about your lineup or your position on the mat, and we know that Zina Kocher, she's very, very experienced, and I am surprised. She'll be so disappointed.
Well, she's got a few penalty laps to do. Nothing's really changed in the rules of biathlon this year. We'll talk through any minor changes a little later on. Let's have a look at the top positions after that first shoot. Apologies for missing the start of the first race. Important to get a roundup of the ski jumping taking place in Lillehammer, and David Goldstrom will be grateful for that, and we'll follow the rest of this race live. 14 seconds at the margin between the first 10 seconds, so still a fairly tight affair. 4x6, well, it's not a 4x6, it's a 2x6 and a 2x7.5 for today's relay, mixed of course. And last year the champions of the mixed relays were the Russians, and that's why they wear bib number 1. Welcome back to Oestersund. The athletes now on their second loop in this first leg of the mixed biathlon relay, and a chance to catch our breath after that rather frantic start. Now let's have a look at the teams. Russia have gone with Olga Vilkina on the first leg. In fact, the second leg for Vilkina, it's Zaitseva on the first leg. Volkov and Ustugov take legs 3 and 4. Brunei, Doran, Betrix and Boeuf. You might notice the absence of the 2 Fourcards in the French squad. Martin Fourcade over racing in the cross-country yesterday. We thought it was going to be a bit much to make the journey across to Sweden to get skiing, or it's in Sweden, but still a bit of a trek, and he's decided to sit this one out, but we will see him in action later on. Now, Tora Berger back out in front. As you said, Mike, there were words about her retiring. We all thought she was retiring, but it didn't take long for the rest of the Norwegian team to persuade her to stay on for another season, at least.
Well, it's a tough one. She clearly made up in her own mind to think about retiring and then to back off from it. Clearly she's strong. She's leading this one from the gun, and I love the work ethic. She just doesn't stop working and pushing as hard as she can. I'm pleased that she hasn't retired. I think she's putting it off, the retirement that is, until Sochi after the Olympics a year come February.
We'll see. You can never be quite sure. Those who come back, Ricky Hatton, he obviously made a comeback of some form last night. Bit disappointing there, certainly for him, but everyone has a right to come back from retirement, but it's just a question of how long you can leave it before you make that decision. For Tora Berger, it was about 2 minutes.
Well, that was a
careless fall.
Lack of concentration there. Her weight was back as she skated out on her left ski. Hopefully we'll see that again.
They're already pushing the pace as they come down to the range for the second time. On the right of Tora Berger, as you look at it, that's Olga Zaitseva. And Zaitseva, 34 now, from Moscow. And a pretty good season, really, last year. Finished in 6th position in the overall. She'll certainly be hoping to be amongst the top 3 this year. She's got the potential to do that. And mid-season, she was almost untouchable. I wonder when we're going to see that sort of form. So here we go. Shoot number 2. They take the lane that corresponds with their entry into the range as opposed to their bib number as they did in the first shoot. 8 rounds, 5 targets. The top athletes should not require the spare rounds. Berger will. A chance for Brunet to take advantage of her superb marksmanship, but no, slightly flustered. So once again, Berger holds a slim lead. The penalty loop avoided. Poland get 5 out of 5. Very good shooting from Krystyna Palka. And Ukraine matched them with some excellent shooting. So Ukraine will certainly move up a few positions. Ukraine wearing bib number 4. Vita Semerenko racing for them, who was 12th in the World Cup standings at the end of last year. And Sweden go 5 with 5. Great shooting from the Swedes. And Jenny Jonsson, of course, the sister of Helena Ekhoff, will be delighted with that. Ekholm, not Ekhoff. David Ekholm, her husband. We're going to miss Ekholm this season, aren't we, Mike?
Yes, that's right. She has stepped out of the racing. She found the pressure, the continuous training, it all just, she'd had enough of it. And if you've been competing from a young age, a change often is needed.
And what a contrast, the retirement of Ekholm compared to that of Magdalena Neuner of Germany, who announced her retirement at this stage of last season, and then went all the way through to Khanty-Mansiysk, and I believe is going to have a retirement race later on at some stage this season. We'll get you updated on that.
I had heard that Neuner, was finding retirement a little boring, so she was having been committed to all the training throughout the years.
Now let's see where are we going to see where the missed target was. It was the first one that missed, just on the left-hand side.
So steady, so easy for Tora Berger. Often these first races of the season, you're a little race rusty. Obviously the cameras and racing at this time of night, it is different. Well, I say night, it's only 3:45 local time in the afternoon.
Floodlights have been on for a good hour and a half already. This is the long climb here in Oestersund, and it's tough work. When they reach the top of this hill, they turn to the right. And at 4.8 kilometres, another 1,200 metres to go for Tora Berger. Her advantage just a few seconds over the French. The Russians are starting to come back with Olga Zaitseva. And right behind them, Krystyna Palka of Poland has had a fantastic run. Great start to her season. And she'll be delighted by the fact that she's still ahead of Germany. And Tina Bachmann it is for Germany. Now, the Germans will definitely miss Neuner, who could take over the last leg. She has taken over the last leg a minute behind and come through to win. They're going to miss her power and speed. There are the top 10. Norway leading. The charge for the line for Tora Berger. She's the first runner for Norway in this mixed relay. The first race of the 2012-2013 biathlon season, and already stamping her authority. What a great job she's done. 10 seconds ahead of Zaitseva, who missed the target, had to come back from that. Brunet shooting solid as ever. Mike, Brunet was actually quite disappointed with her season. She was the best shot by a mile last year, but didn't really have the strength or the ski speed. Can she turn that around?
Well, interestingly, as you were saying that, she is definitely, in my opinion, a little faster this year. She's been working on her ski speed. She's been doing more interval training. Her shooting will remain good. We saw that today once again, but she needs to find 30 seconds over a 20-minute race to be in contention. She's had 5 times second place. She hasn't won a race yet, and hopefully with that ski speed she can.
So Norway hand over in first. Berger to Solomdal, and Solomdal had the luxury of a clean handover, no danger of broken poles there. France and Russia coming in side by side. It's going to be Russia who just pipped the French at the end of the first leg. Nothing between them, but they're both in a very, very good position. Poland will be delighted to be in fourth place at the moment. Magdalena Gwizdon, who's hugely experienced in this game, taking the second leg for them. Team number 4, that's Ukraine, Symaryenko to Petrushna, and just behind them, the Germans with that familiar figure of Andrea Henkel, who is back for more.
Well, that's interesting. Tina Bachmann is one of only 3 to shoot the perfect 10 out of 10 today out of the 24 women's teams so far. I thought she'd be a little closer to the front, so leaving Henkel with quite some work to do. Henkel, I think we can safely say, with 21 wins to her name, is the most experienced in this part of the race.
Well, there's a shot that will delight many biathlon fans. I know that you've modelled your own skiing on Daria Domracheva over the years.
Like
she looks a little bit stronger to me this year. Looks a little bit more forward lean in the stance. Very fluent, as she's always been, but she just looks that little bit more powerful, and that might help her dominate the World Cup. With Neuner out the way, Domracheva very much the favourite to end up this season as the #1.
I think so, and as you say, she did need to find possibly a little more speed on her skis, Domracheva. From what I've heard, she has worked on that, and with Klaus Siebert guiding her, they really work as a team.
Berger might challenge in this sort of form.
Great, wonderful early season form.
Given Norway every chance. Norway, incidentally, the 2 men racing for them. Svensson, as you would expect, takes the last leg. Emil Hegler Svensson, who was second in the overall World Cup last year. And Erlend Bjørntegard. It's not Bjørndalen, it's Bjørntegard who comes in. A good youth skier. He won medals at the Youth Championships. He's, what, 22 now? So he's got a bit of experience, but it's going to be interesting to see how he copes with the pressure of leg number 3. And if Solomdal goes well, he could have a lead of 15-20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's as you say, to put a young skier in leg 3, it's the place to put him. You need someone as experienced as Svensson to anchor you when you're wearing the Norwegian flag. That's a safe bet. But I'm just wondering, are the Norwegians maybe not quite yet taking this race as seriously as they possibly can? Would you not want to put your top guns in there?
And your top guns, I guess you're talking possibly Ole Einar.
Ole Einar, certainly from what I've been hearing, he is on great form in terms of skiing, and his shooting is even better than it ever has been, is the word. And that proof of that was in his summer roller ski races. Very accurate, very strong.
Now Domracheva now 23.6. How far was she behind at the exchange? We'll get you some sort of idea. 30.7, so she's already gained 7 seconds on Solomdal on the first climb out of the stadium, so she's not hanging around at the moment. Italy hoping that Karin Oberhofer can get back into contention. The first 4 teams separated by some 50 metres. Second and third, France and Russia locked together. Poland on their own in 4th position. Domracheva is closing that gap very, very fast for Belarus, and she's taking the Ukrainians with Elena Petrushna with her.
This is faster skiing, Patrick, than we've seen before from Petrushna. Her